You know, initially we said, we want to make robots that go inside the body. How cool would that be? And we started thinking, how would you do it? I mean, are they worms? Are they inchworms? Are they tank treads?
And these are some of your first iterations of ideation on this.
Yeah, so late 2018, that was our company, was this notebook. And then James started building physical prototypes. So this was his version of a walking foot. Okay. And we were thinking maybe if we had a bunch of walking feet around the outside, maybe that would work. Then we started thinking, hey, let's go corkscrew geometry.
That I love. That makes me super happy.
And the cool thing of this was pulling itself across our couch. Yeah, and we're thinking like, it's moving, right? Then we started thinking contra-rotating corkscrew. We were doing like flagellating tails, like all the stuff you would see in industry. We were swallowing blank pills just to see if they'd actually go through our bodies, right?
You're just breaking the system down to each of its component parts and solving those problems one by one.
Trying to, right? Yeah. So this guy that you're holding started tying a bunch of pig intestines in knots. We had just gone to the local market and gotten a bunch of...
So you got a pig intestine stretched and you powered up and...
Yeah.
Wow.
And so that's when Ben, who's on our team, said, you know what, maybe instead of crawling through the whole GI tract, if you just drank some water, you might be able to swim. And so that's when we got into this multi-copter concept. And so we said, okay, well, what flies well? This has been through a fair amount, right? But we basically said, what flies well? Well, quadcopters fly well. And so we started this process where we got ourselves a basic printer, we got some Raspberry Pi hardware, and we made a quadcopter submarine. And that gave us, you know, a lot of degrees of freedom. And then we set about trying to make it smaller. So we got down to Red Bull size. This was the first time we went to custom electronics. Yeah, so we left the Raspberry Pi here, but we kept the Wi-Fi link. We kept this camera. We were using a lot of JB Weld.
I see all the JB Weld and the copper balls.
We tried to go a little bit smaller. This was a difficult fundraising time for the company.
I swear you'll be able to swallow it.
But we started to get down to this scale where we had a stack of PCBs that would plug in. Yeah. And this actually was a whole new chapter for the company. People started thinking like, hey, this is kind of elegant. We shot this video in a local bar with our fish tank on the bar with the thing swimming around. Nice. And to some pretty sweet techno, I might add. And once we had this, the money started coming in a little bit better. And then we said, let's make it small. So when we got to this scale back in June of 2020, we had a swallowable quadcopter. The problem, though, is earlier we were talking about 3 grams. This thing is more than 5 grams, and it sinks like a stone.
Of course.
So the lithium batteries at that time did not have a C rating that could keep up with the motors. So we were using these huge cells with more energy than we needed, but we were choked for current. So from there, this was also a difficult time. How do we make it buoyant? So we went through this savage cut where we said, take 2 of the motors out, right? And so we had this dual propulsion system that could turn left, right, go forward and backward. No Z, right? No true 3D, but at least we shot a video with it moving around in our stomach.
But that must have been a difficult shift to make. You've invested a ton of time in fitting and engineering 4 motors in there, and then you ask, do we need them all? And you chuck 2. That's amazing.
I felt like we were missing teeth, honestly.
Right.
So from there we said, okay, what do we do? Maybe we compromise. So we started to go to a 3-motor configuration. And this is the first version of what is sort of our modern device.
So that's the Z, and then that is the X and Y.
Right. And so here you just see us being like, okay, how do we pack it tighter? How do we stay neutrally buoyant? Everything up until this one is machined nose cones by James.
Oh, no way!
From solid, polished, clear.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Every single one of those. And each one of those probably represents 50 bots he built, right? So from there, we went to our first thermoformed shell. And it was a little ratty, but even at that level, we thought, this is a good step forward. And you can see we were doing our radio antennas using copper snail tape and the CNC vinyl cutter.
Oh, I love this. I mean, you know, your average person looks at a Pillbot and thinks, I don't know how that sort of thing gets built. But I love that this single 2 feet of progression shows the entirety.
Totally. So the bots that we put in your body today are part of this generation right here. The thing that I'm really proud of is that you met Kian and Tomas, who are now doing an injection moldable version of that design.
Wow.
So this guy is 3D printed, but it's 3D printed injection moldable geometry. That thing's flying beautifully, right? So we're actually very close to a workhorse production ready robot that we can actually use as the platform for the company.
So I'm curious about the control aspect of this, because I've done a lot of filming underwater. I know that you can't get radio waves out of water very reliably. How do you guys, I'm assuming, control this with radio?
This is right. This is all wireless.
Is it difficult getting radio waves into the human body successfully?
Extremely difficult.
Oh, wow.
Extremely difficult. And so, yeah, our body is effectively a conductive material, right?
Yeah.
It's salt water largely, and that will block and attenuate a lot of the normal radio frequencies.
Right.
So you have to be as low frequency as you can, so you have as lowest attenuation. But picking up that signal is tricky. And so we actually have active tuning. So this robot is always fine-tuning and changing its antenna properties in order to maximize that
Oh,
output.
wow. So the signal is a dynamic thing rather than a static thing it's receiving.
It has to be continually optimized.
And that continual optimization based on where in the body it is, or the type of body, or what that person might have eaten their whole life.
Yes, and yes.
Wow, oh my God, because everyone's going to be a different kind of Faraday cage, won't we?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Can we steer one?
Yeah.
Can we steer one around? I
Let's
see this beautiful thing. Like as a science communicator, an empty tank of water just begs for something to go in it.
Let's fly a robot.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Now, before you toss this in there, can you walk me through all of the little systems that are embedded in this tiny thing?
Indeed. So on the back section is what we call the thrust barrel. And so there's 3 motors in there, and then each motor has a lumen, which basically holds the propeller. So there's a propeller on each of these motors.
Yeah.
These are vibration motors from a cell phone.
Oh, they're super tall.
Super small, and they're super inexpensive for us. We 3D print a propeller, we put those propellers on there, and then they're embedded. So those propellers are embedded inside. So as you're swallowing it and as it's in the human body, those propellers are nowhere near, can touch you as they're spinning.
Right.
Okay? So that whole back end has these lumens. It has sort of stators because they're directing the flow through the center of gravity. Very specific thruster section in the whole back half of this thing.
Okay.
Right in the middle is the battery. It's a nice lithium-ion battery. It's really punchy. It's got a lot of power, a lot of performance to it. It's great technology. And then on top of that is our entire flex circuit. This is all of the components needed to run a robot, right? It has a field programmable gate array, it has a microcontroller, it has motor drivers, all of the things that are needed. It has a wireless radio. All of that's on one flex circuit that we fold up like origami to get to fit in that tiny little top section of this.
This answers the biggest question I had, because we did this video a few months ago where we used a CAT scanner to look inside some cables.
Yeah.
And we saw the degree of intense micro machining and manufacturing that's going on in there. And I was wondering how possible you could iterate something every 2 weeks with that kind of packing. The flexible circuit board allows you to do that.
That's exactly right.
Amazing.
And stacks in there, and it's super efficient volume-wise, but there's a lot going on in that circuit.
Right, because that circuit's got a camera, it's got lights, it's got a signal processor, it's sending out, or it's got a radio transmitter. All of that's happening in there.
In that little tiny circuit that fits in that little spot.
Let's see it swim. Oh, I get to drop?
It's yours.
Amazing. Oh, hi there. Here we go.
Here you go. I can get you going here.
All right. Okay, so. Is this the smallest swimming robot right now in the world?
This is the
What's up, Fiery Joe?
smallest medical robot in the world.
Gotcha.
In terms of being able to be something that is safe and going through clinical trials right now. So there's been a lot of work done, again, in universities and even in small labs related to this concept, but no one's been able to try to bring it actually a product to market. And it's pretty important. Like, there are people who suffer stomach.
Wait, what is CK3? What is CK3?
Issues.
Wait, I want to see
all
where
day
he
long
takes it. He's
across
gonna
the
take
world.
this pill.
All
Oh,
right.
the robot. I want to see what it's like.
How much time?
Crusader Kings? Wait, that's a laggy camera. Wait, what is this? What kind of game is this? Strategy game? This is probably one that like you really sit down and just take your time with, it seems like. Seems cool. Medieval grand strategy. What? Wait, what's with that last part there? What?
Do I get how much camera transmitting time is there on this battery?
If you just did camera only, it's like 45 minutes, an hour. But when you're running motors, it's like 30 minutes, 25 minutes.
Oh wow! So I got you. Okay, cool. Is it time we're really doing this? Okay. Here we go. Taking a swig.
Oh my
Putting
god.
this in. Uh-huh.
Follow it.
Hot going down. Scratch me over here. I think it might be.
And you're in.
I'm in.
You're in.
I swallowed a robot. I'm now part of the future. So this is the inside of me.
This is the inside.
Oh god, can you imagine that? I don't know why, but just I feel like I could feel it.
That you sort of start to see.
How does it
some of
come out?
The tissue of the stomach, right?
Mhm,
And so
mhm.
what you're looking
Oh
for
god.
is color. You're looking for some of these kind of folds. It's called the rugi, and it sort of specifies how healthy your stomach tissue is.
It looks nice and pink to me.
It is pink is good.
Okay, good.
Pink is good. That's actually that's what you want it to look like.
And this is swimming around in here, and it's been picked up on a radio in my pocket.
Yep.
I feel nothing specific. It's not like I can tell something's moving around in there. Are you steering it?
Not yet. I want you to
Okay.
drink
Oh, yeah.
one more swig of water.
One more swig of water. Okay, here we go. I want to see if I can see this.
God. Yeah, but yeah, instead of playing a country, you play a person who owns land. It's more about personal dynamics, trying to like kill people ahead of you in line. What? Wait, so is it a mature game? Wait, let me see. Is there like a rating? It didn't ask for my age on like I'm not logged in. Am I oh yeah, I'm not. You are not signed in. I thought it would not recommended 414 hours. The base game was promising when it came out, but unlike CK2, bro played it for 400 hours just to write this. Huh. Gameplay very good. Audio very good. PC requirements fast. Game size big. Difficulty difficult. Grind only if you care about leaderboards. Story good. Game time long. Price if it's on sale. Bugs minor bugs. 9 out of 10. We're not kidding. Like, all right, I want to see more of this robot.
Good. Swig, swig, swig.
Takes a second. Oh.
Oh my god,
So
what is
notice you're gonna
that?
have,
Ew, what is that little like
Oh,
thing
there
in
you go. We're
there?
getting some good stuff down
Yeah, I
there.
watch stuff happen. That's really neat. There are times when you drink like a nice glass of cold water and you can feel the cold moving
And
down.
you kind of feel it inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you see over here, these are motor thrusts. So you can kind of see when I'm when I'm kind of
okay.
engaging the motor here.
So then you guys are able to actually go back and take a look at what you've shot and see how you got it.
Everything is recorded. So all that
Everything. It's all
telemetry.
data.
Yeah, it is data because you're trying to optimize what is the best way to get out of this glob now. So you sort of see frames per second. We have
The battery is dying too fast. Oh my god.
Connected. There's a robot that's connected. The wireless data link is connected.
Dude, it's lost
The
10%.
battery. So this connection here is,